Hey, this is Justin. It is Monday morning, doing a walk and talk, and just getting some ideas that are rattling around inside the head, outside the head, and then want to put them into to some systems to make them meaningful for other people on the back end. So I'm going to quickly go off of camera here in a second here, just getting started on camera to do a little bit of a little bit of FaceTime, but kind of quickly as I start crossing streets, going to go off camera so we can pay attention to what's going on in the rest of the world. Also, not capturing anybody else on these videos who wouldn't necessarily want to be on the videos. And so I've been on an obsessive recording phase lately. Just getting some of the ideas. It's a mental health exercise for number one, to get some clarity of thinking and clarity of creation and clarity of building. And let's just turn the camera off here. Let's just go right at it here. Okay, perfect. The other thing is I don't love about the actual the recording, and people think that they're getting recorded live when you got the camera on here, and so it also kind of can be intrusive on other people. So what do I want to say about this? So yeah, start taking some of the ideas that are rattling around inside of our head, and getting them out on long walks, and then using systems to develop them into things to create stuff with. And what happens is when the thinking gets very good, then tend to go unconscious, which is also an important time to be able to the important time to be able to surface some of those thoughts and to review some of the thoughts and the stuff that we talk about after the fact. And so that's it. So no particular agenda coming in. We'll start to do some of the agenda full connections based on some of the stuff that I'm reading, some of the stuff that we're listening to, some of the other thought processes that we have. We'll be able to share some of the documents that we're actually creating and building, and yeah, so that'll happen in some of the computer setups. I'm setting up a studio to be able to record, hopefully a somewhat mobile studio, but also partially, somewhat mobile studio to be able to record and to capture the thoughts live. But the best thing to do is to go on, for me, to go on a long walk and just talk and get the ideas out there, and then break it up into small micro clips on the back end and see what actually comes out of it, and what's inspiring, and then also what people start to connect to on the back end, what people start to pay attention to on the back end. We'll probably put a little bit of marketing into this to keep people in the conversation long enough to actually get some of the ideas. The social media algorithms are not designed for capturing walking and talking and random brainstorming. They're more designed for quick capture attention, and so these aren't necessarily quick capture attention videos. So we'll probably do some of that work to have people listen a little bit longer, which also perpetuates more creation and more building and more general goodness. So that's what we're up to today. That's when we started to create. I'm going to start working with a document maker later on this afternoon to start putting some of the ideas out. I'm going to start doing some interviews later on today. Doing some interviews later on today to connect with other people. Also just laying the foundation for all those different all the different pieces, and then probably also going to beef up the amount of time that we're going on these walks and doing the recording. The other thing that I've thought about is going to start adding weights to the walk to get to be able to get in shape as we're get into more shape and do some weightlifting as we're going through the walk and talks. There's heavy hands, I guess, was a concept back in the 80s when people would walk with a little bit of dumbbells. That's coming back. I want to see if I can get some gloves to do a little bit of heavy hands work, but also to be able to record at the same time. Potentially also do some rucking, which is carrying some weight on the backpack, to make sure, just lightweight on the back, to be able to get some more strength that way. And the name of the game is to be able to get as much work done during a walk as we do during during regular working time, I guess is the way that they say. So also might do a sweatsuit to start to to add some more sweat into the sweats conversation. There's probably all kinds of gear, t-shirts that we need to get to, so that don't necessarily smell afterwards. So all those different, all the different avenues to be able to go for a walk, get some clear thinking, to be able to create something, then to be able to cut it up and to have it be useful for other people. And then number two is the have it be useful for other people. And then number two is to get healthier when we're going through the walk. And walking's great for basic exercise. It's the number one basic exercise, but you're missing some of the weightlifting aspect. Some of the resistance training that's required to the resistance training that's required to actually make it work. So I'm walking through the streets of New York right now. Not convenient to drop down and do some push-ups, but that's also another option to just to drop down and do some work as we're going live. So we'll start adding some other pieces into it. Maybe get some. I think it'll be fun actually in some of the interviews to get trainers in to do walk and talks and to do specific exercises as we're going through the walk and talk, and to invite other people into the conversation to share some of their thoughts on workout, I guess, workout style, workout techniques. So that is that's the number two option here, probably. So it'd be fun to just go on walks with people, have them join the stream live, and to be chatting, walking together, or potentially even doing like a selfie stick type of thing. You're going on a walk and then recording some of the lives. There is a Talkie Walkie podcast, which kind of lays the foundation for that. I'd like to actually connect with a comedian who does the Talkie Walkie podcast to find out what work he does, how he manages the tech around those, right, and how the editing is done on the back end and all that fun stuff, right, to start to have conversations with people, to start to solve our own problems, and also not necessarily just for the purpose of solving the problem, but to promote somebody else, and also to get to know other people that we wouldn't necessarily have connected with previously. Also, we'll probably start to put some of these as webinars, and start putting some of these as webinars for some promotion, and also some of the community building, doing some of the community building. I'm conscious of searching for words as we start to go. That's a good indication of lack of what's the word I'm looking for? Lack of stability. And it's not like macro stability, like going crazy, but just like feeling stable with where we're going and feeling confident about some of the stuff that we're like working through. And probably we'll start talking through some of the life stuff in these and start to work those as well. Doing 100 videos on something that's a challenge, or something that we're working through, or something that we're trying to make improvements on will probably mean a lot more than not doing the 100 videos on some of those things. And my hypothesis is by the time you get to the last one, you start to by the time you get to the last one, you have your challenge and your problem worked out. So some are going to be personal and private, and some are going to be some will be public. But we run through the same sort of like, boom, where do we get those magic moments? Where do we get those aha moments that we realize, whoop, that's the answer? And I would say like life is not going to be similar. Apologies. I am walking through the city here, so you'll have a lot of background noise. Sometimes it might drown out what we're talking about. Sometimes it will. Sometimes it'll work. Sometimes it will not be in the way. And yeah, I'll continue. This is the first time I've done a walk and talk in Manhattan in a while, probably doing about, I don't know, 30, 35 blocks, maybe 5,000 steps during this walk. Yeah, maybe 5,000 steps during the walk. And yeah, I'll probably record for about 30 minutes and then see what comes of it. See what comes of it on the back end. See where it, let me just actually, let me do the, get the voice memo working as well so we can get, so we can get that captured. I'm 10 minutes in for this one, but I'm getting the voice memo worked as well. So we have a quick way to be able to, pool and order for the stuff that, yeah, the stuff that we want to rip some of the audio for, rip some of the audio for to work with. What else do I want to? It's actually interesting. I'm just thinking about getting these live just on YouTube to start with, and yeah, YouTube live to start with, and then having them be in private channels and not public conversations, especially if we're starting to work through some of the challenges with other people. But I think going through doing 30 minutes of live walk and talk in the mornings. Yeah, 30-minute sessions as opposed to 10-minute sessions is probably going to be an unlock where we start to hit our stride for, starting to get some momentum and starting to hit the stride and starting to get some momentum and starting to have the unconscious take over. And I realize that typically happens at the 20-minute mark, as opposed to, yes, where the unconscious mind starts to take over and starts to pull in really the truth of what, or a more authentic truth, right? The screens are down, and I think that is the main driver, right? How do we start to tap into the authentic communication, the authentic thought process, to have that flow through, to kind of tap into the muse, to tap into the muse and tap into the muse and have it activated, have it activated, have it live, have it be in our heads, right? And have it be have it be live, have it be in our heads, have it be available. Oh, I went left for a second there. Some like, oh, what if somebody's trying to get a hold of me? That was like the once you get to some truth, we want to start getting away from, start to take a pause and go in a different, direction. And that's what the mind does to keep us safe from necessarily getting to those authentic thoughts and those authentic ways of working. And also when we have a chance of starting to break some of the addictive behavior as well, that's the other thing that starts to pop up, where we're starting to, where the addictive behavior is like, oh, check this, check your email, check Teams messages, check those things that are starting to create, where it creates some hey, we've got to do this, because there's the fear of missing something that pops up, and then there's also there's the fear of missing something that pops up, and then there's also there's the pattern recognition of, this is the way that we've done something before, and we're trying something new that is a little bit scary, even though derivative, it's not even that new compared to what we had created before, right? It's not that different, not that new, not that not that different, not that new, not that impactful. What else do I? What else do I want to? What else do I want to add into? What else do I want to add into the? What else do I want to add into the conversation? All right, I could probably do a pause here and actually do some checking. Let's just actually check it, see if I can do a check live, real time. Boop, 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 boop. Wednesday. Nothing there, and then we go back here. Yes. All right, we're back. All right, so yeah, just a little bit of a break there to do a quick check-in. To do a quick check-in, and then we get a little bit of the relief, right? We get the dopamine hit. One of the main topics I'm looking for is that, how do we start to break free of the phone, right? How do we start to get the stuff done that we actually want to get done, but also the break free of the phone, have it be a tool that we use, not necessarily a tool that owns us. And that's where also using it as a recording device would be nice to actually just get rid of the screen completely. And just like I've looked at the Ray-Ban glasses to be able to use that. Right, and then inspiring that for other people. Inspiring that for other people in their lives. I think that's also sort of the value, the happy medium. Walking and talking is the happy medium where you get to have some agency over phone usage, and I get to have agency over phone usage and what create, right? You're actually building and creating as opposed to just sitting around and consuming and watching and paying attention to what other people are doing. And I tried that and I think about it as an experiment with the kids. I was like, look, if you're going to go do this stuff, create something on the back end, even if it's just an audio note. Create something on the back end when you're done, so that the time didn't necessarily go to waste. And even if it's just a capture of like, this is what I watched. This is what I watched. This is what I'm thinking about it. Here's my point of view on it. That is like if we're starting to create something, as opposed to just going forward and turning the brain over to the mindless screen. So, what else do I want to say about that right now? That is being empowering as a father, especially as the kids start moving into the teen years. It's another hot topic right now. Striking the balance between corporate and art and expression. That's another. That's another big piece that it's another big piece that we're working through. It's another big piece that we're working through in the. It's another big piece that we're working through in the moment. All right, and I can see who else. Let me just actually see who else I want to connect with. Let me put that in there right now. I'll put it in there. I like to attract a conversation. It's not, you don't even have to necessarily reach out when they go on the list. You just have to attract a conversation with people that will drive something, right? And that is, be present, be connected, be alive, be turned on to, tuned in, being tuned in, being alive, right, and starting to be able to create, right? Definitely have some points of view on what's going on with our presidential election. We'll not be bringing that in right now. And then so my main things that I'm working on is family, like really being a connected and connected father that is, connected to them, not necessarily connected to the devices, and longevity, living effectively, into the triple digits, and creating meaningful work, right? Creating meaningful work every single day, and being a great partner to people, being a great partner to using tools in a way that is meaningful and empowering and allows people to more tap into their artistic expression and the stuff that is out there for them, right? So having unlocks for people, having unlocks out there, having unlocks for people to be able to see things differently and to be able to have a little bit of a breakthrough. And I think whenever there is something that's not necessarily working or working the way that we want it to, that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity to, build. It's the opportunity to create something new that can have an impact for other people, right? Because those things that aren't necessarily working for us are the things that are probably not necessarily working for other people. So those are the opportunities to be able to create something new. And I think our brain goes to survival mode quite a bit. So there is, our brain goes to survival mode quite a bit. And so when we're in that survival mode, how do we break through it? How do we break through it? How do we build something new? Yeah, how do we build something? How do we build something new? How do we build something meaningful? How do you build something new? How do you build something meaningful? How do you I guess squeeze the juice also out of every single conversation? And I think that is really what it is, right? We started off with this was a one activity, which was a drop my son off and my nephew off at camp. Then number two, could have gotten on a train, listened to a podcast on the back end, decided instead to do a walk. Probably takes 15 to 20 more minutes to do that than it does to do the other one, but then catch another train. But then we get a 20-minute recording that we have after the fact, right? We get the 20-minute recording, which will start to, which we can, start to mine, start to work through, start to work with, start to build off of. We get a 20-minute recording that can create, right, dozens of little atoms out there in the world that people can interact with, and there's dozens of little atoms that people can interact with, and connect with. And I saw something this morning. That's where I'm gonna start doing the sit-down sessions. Saw something this morning, which was what might suppose go viral. What's the recipe or what's the formula for making things go viral, and how do you start to incorporate some of those things and still kind of maintain the authenticity. So that's where we can start doing some of the audit trails on the stuff that we're working on to see what is start doing some of the audit trails on some of the stuff that we're working on to see to make predictions. I think that's the important thing, to make predictions about how something will perform, so we're able to develop our creativity on the front end with a lens to what's actually going to connect on the back end. And then the other piece of it is who's speaking to, like who's the beneficiary, who's the recipient of these, and maybe it's not necessarily clear, but actually who do we want to talk to? And right now it is like I'm like talking to myself, right? I'm talking to and there are people that are like me, but this is designed to get some more clarity for me, also to get some more clay to some more clay to work with and to navigate through. And that's it, right? That's it. It's more clay to be able to work with. It's more opportunities to be able to get some feedback, more opportunities to ship something out there into the world. It's more opportunities to ship something, more opportunities to learn something new, opportunities to create something new. And I think if we continue to create and we have an endless stream of stuff that we want to pump through the system, then you have the endless stream. Then it is the counterpoint to that is that you have to put, there are some constraints to put in to make it more to make it more meaningful, to make it more meaningful, more palatable, more impactful. There's stuff that you want to put in to start making things more palatable. Also thinking about gear that we want to test out and work with. Gear we want to test out and work with. I think the neck desk number one, or can we just get rid of the phone altogether? To get rid of the phone altogether and just talk, right? And then just have enough awareness around some of the stuff that we're talking about to have awareness around some of the stuff that we're talking about to make it meaningful and to make it connected for people. So what's the but I think the number one constraint is what is it? The number one, not even constraint. The number one constraint is minimizing, not even minimizing, but optimizing that time in front of we have to sit down in front of a computer, optimizing the sit down time, maximizing the sit time is time for human beings, time to be connected. That's what sit down time is. Those times to be connected, times to be that's the dot, right? And times to actually build out systems that make the walking and talking more impactful. I think that is it. Let's go do Fifth Avenue. We're doing it to Grand Central. Let me decide. I think we're going to do, we got 16 minutes here. My voice is getting a little bit rusty here. All right. Voice getting a little bit rusty, done 26 minutes and 58 seconds, which might be another challenge with doing a couple of hours at a time. We might lose some of the voice. Let me see how we're doing steps here. Yeah, we're 8,559 steps here. Would be nice on Gyroscope to be the top steps person. Also would like to get into this. Hey, we talked about Gyroscope. Boom, there's a notification. Like you can subscribe to notifications about the stuff that we talk about here, and what are the topics? What are the topics that get captured here, and then which ones do people want to kind of hear more about when we talk about Gyroscope, or we talk about some of the other tools. And probably we'll have to start with being a little bit more deliberate around the structuring of these conversations, and then inside of that being more deliberate, we'll be able to get more freedoms once we understand which guardrails actually make the most amount of difference. Because if you put too many constraints on at the beginning before you actually get started, then too many constraints in the beginning before you get started, and then you're sort of stuck. But if you put too few constraints on, then you are, you put too few constraints on, then you don't get to anything. So I think that is where we start introducing some hypotheses or some experiments, which I started to capture on my workflow, experiments about how we're able to do something. And so what's the what, and then what's the how that goes around, that goes around with it? What are the questions that we want to ask that get us to a no as quickly as possible, so the yes actually means something, right? How do we start to eliminate the noise as quickly as possible? We put a lot out there, we pump a bunch through, you eliminate the noise as quickly as possible, and then on the back end, then you see what you have. You see what you have on the back end that you can build off of and work through. All right, that's it, right? That might be the beginning, the middle, and the end. I'm gonna see if we've got a little bit more in the, in the chamber here. We also have the opportunity to do jiu-jitsu at noon. I think I've got to, or I could do 6 o'clock. That's the other option. Do have that other class today, so the schedules are the schedules are annoying, especially if we're kind of reinventing something else or something new. Yeah, inventing something else and something new. So we have about 6 more blocks to go here. So it's probably about 5 more minutes of recording before we put this one to an end. Actually, I think we just hit the 30-minute mark. I think I'm going to put this one to an end, start getting it processed before we get onto the train. Have an amazing Monday or